Okay, I just wanted to show you a paper that I did back in 2003 when I was at Evergreen State College. And it was for a final group presentation on biotechnology. And I just wanted to go over how things have changed since 2003 and what we've learned and if we have progressed. And I'm just going to briefly go over just a few pages. Genetically engineered is a standard term for a process in which foreign genes are sliced into non-related species, creating an entirely new organism. And I don't know if people know about this with genetically engineered food. Some other terms are GM foods, or you might hear GE foods. It's widely used in Europe because it translates more easily among different languages. It's reported since 1990, nearly 3,000 varieties of GE plants and animals and bacterial have been developed and field tested in the U.S. The first GE plants were produced in 1982 and the field tests conducted in 1986. We've been eating foods enhanced by biotechnology for most of the last decade, long before some of us were born. Farmers were slicing genes and manipulating seeds to create more robust plants. A lot of foods that we eat today contain GE ingredients, and usually without our knowledge, because our government doesn't require the labeling of GE foods. Plant transgenic technology is used to produce a plant that will generate a seed that expresses a desired therapeutic protein. This seed can propagate under the right growing conditions to yield plants in seed stock for producing a desired protein. The desired protein can be extracted from the seed to make a biopharmaceutical. About 70% of Americans eat is about what Americans eat is GE food. So I'm thinking this number's probably went up. Several years ago, the Economist did a study on the willingness of people to consume products labeled as genetically modified. Here are some of the countries. We got some of them are more susceptible, some that aren't. The average percent of what or much less likes to buy genetically engineered foods, 68% U.S. American agriculture. I guess he said he couldn't locate that in my reference. I bet. The group members that are for GE foods, I'm for GE foods. I must have been really out of my mind. I meant not for. But, with my dyslexia, I must have left that out. But anyways, the benefits of GE foods are they ensure to sustain food security around the world as population increases, help increase food production, lower the prices of food, and make it more abundant. GE food also produces the need for more toxic and lasting weed killers, solves pest control, benefits poor farmers and countries, less need to plow or graze more frugal lands in future, less known as pesticide, produces more land to produce our food and less clearing of wildlife. The environmental payoffs are fewer trees cut and more species saved. Which is, I'm sure, false. Now we could probably follow up on that if it's true. What are the biggest myths about GE foods? Gene slicing and GE are precise and therefore predicate and save. GE foods will feed the world's hunger and save the developing world country. GE crops reduce the use of toxic herbicides So these are the biggest myths, they said. No evidence that GE food and crops are harmful, they say. Some pros, it's basically sold and engineered food in supermarkets always approved by FDA. Generic engineering foods can help reduce the dependence on chemical pesticides. New and better tasting foods can be brought to the market. Yeah, right. With people with allergies to them. The remaining group members that are against GE foods are, see here, I'm against it. And these are some of the other people. And it says already genetically engineered food supplement, genetically engineered tryptophan has been believed to be connected to some fatalities. Gene transfer could result in creating new pathogenic bacteria and viruses. Major companies are using genetically engineered foods while refusing to test or label for harmful side effects. FDA does not seriously investigate new genetically engineered crops for health risks. Major insect pesticides could evolve biopesticide resistance. Is the soil toxins to kill insects, organic, plants develop contain a gene for Bt toxin which could cause insects to become resistant to it, wasting the world's most important biological pesticides. GE's health risks are now we have new toxins and allergens in our food. Horizontal gene transfer recombination could result in creating new pathogenic bacteria, viruses, which we could waste our defenses against disease. Tryptophan, a genetically engineered food plant, has already killed 37 people, disabled 1,500 others. 2 other health effects are lowered nutritional values and substances that increase cancer hazards. GE environmental risks are we could be looking at the end of the world as we know it. New plant viruses could develop from genetically engineered crops that are virus resistant, and major insect pests could result biopesticide resistance. GE crops kill monarch butterflies, beneficial insects, damage soil fertility, create super weeds and super pests. GE crops also cause genetic pollution and genetic drift, threatening wildlife, birds, biodiversity, contaminates commercial and organic crops, thus creating new virulent plant viruses. Ramifications of GE food and socioeconomic are food shortage, hunger, and will be experienced by poorer nations. GE food is inexpensive. It's expensive technology that poor farmers can't afford. Patent and laws go against the poor. It is an untested technology. And finally, isolation, exacerbation, and negative trends already manifest in globalization and industrialization of agriculture. Continuing ramifications are presently there is a food fight between U.S. and Europe, which threaten trade sanction. Europe demands labeling, sees no savings and benefits for consumers. China doesn't want to lose export to Europe, so they only follow GE cotton crops. Political hazards of GE are threats to national food security, both at home and abroad. Potential dislocation of hundreds of millions of small farmers in rural villages. The manifestation of monopoly trends already evident in industrial agriculture. GE foods may violate their religious and ethical principles. For example, vegetarians try to avoid all animal food. Jews and Muslims have rigid dietary laws against eating certain animals, yet their tomatoes or lettuce may have one day contain pig genes. The genetic theft of piracy of biological resources of genetic biodiversity found in nature, and particularly in the developing worlds. Harms of the health of farms. What about the suffering of genetically injured animals? And the GE Super Pig was unable to walk or stand. GE Super Salmon had a monster head and couldn't swim, eat, or breathe properly. More than a dozen genes from humans have been already engineered into various animals. If we can eat them, can we call it cannibalism? currently on the market: Montesano's BST milk, breakfast cereal, coffee, all these products on the market and are not labeled. GE Foods. In the world, percentage of U.S. commercial crops 1986 were 0%, and in 2002, 34% cotton, 71 soya, and 75 was estimated loss of sales in Japanese and European markets mid-1990s were $500 million. The simplest way to ensure your food is GE free and is guaranteed GE free food is to shop organic free from GE, produced without artificial pesticides, fertilizers, animals allowed to roam freely and weird without usage of antibiotics, growth promotes, and other drugs. Fred Meyer's Thriftways are good choices for organic meat, and QFC have natural food selections. However, the price is a ripoff. For more information on this, and then there's some websites. Our future of bioengineering food, the Terminator gene technology, which develops seeds that are sterile, which can gradually spread sterility and seeding plants, which will soon result in a global catastrophe that borders on the unthinkable, a death sentence for farmers, a corporate battle for genes, higher costs, higher claims, and it will be used as a weapon against the third world economies in the world. In conclusion, agriculture genetic engineering is radical and unpredictable new technology. G foods are not being adequately safely tested for possible damage to our health or in our environment. G foods are everywhere and are not being labeled. Agriculture GE has negative and social and economical impacts on family farmers and rural communities in the U.S. and around the world. Finally, mounting scientific evidence indicates that GE foods and crops may present serious hazards for our health and our environment. For those that are against GE foods are recommended to contact the Food and Drug Administration, the Department of Health and Human Services. Ask your members of Congress to hold hearings on contamination of food crops for GED pharmaceutical drug crops and to label foods with GE ingredients. Last but not least, contact Kraft Foods. Let them know we would like them to remove GE ingredients from their product line. Information you need: reporting all one word with